Hi everyone, welcome. This is going to be a short one. Thank you to those of you who went and read my article on Substack. I have really put some effort into it. Sometimes when your heart feels like it's going to break into a million pieces, it helps to work on it and work it out of your system. And that is exactly what I tried to do today. Anyway, I see that the backlash about Charlie's refusal to release an Easter message is not going away, but instead it seems to increase and escalate, and whether he's a sick man or not, it is my opinion, and I have to say it out loud so the back row can also hear. Yes, it is my opinion that cancer is an illness, not an excuse. You cannot commit a crime and expect the law to pardon you just because you have cancer. Something very strange though, and unfortunately, although I know I can edit something so that you cannot see the names, etc., I am still afraid that some hacker or wise guy can somehow trace the origin of some of my messages, and that is why I'm not showing it to you, okay? But like I always say, for now, you have to just take my word for it. However, this contributor, the one I'm talking about, all these messages, predicted King Charles's every move months, if not years ago. She made it very clear that Charles will pretend, which is not really the right word, but I cannot think of the right word right now, okay? But let's explain it this way. For a while, King Charles's office will leak how sick he is and how weak he is, and that he needs to see his son Harry and grandchildren before he dies, and that he will use the exact same excuse to actually do what he wants. We've all heard that, oh, don't bother the king, let him be, he is so sick. If A, B, and C makes him happy, then let him be, he doesn't have long. Now, we've all heard that kind of thing before, not necessarily where death is imminent, okay? But where illness or death is indeed not seen as a problem to be dealt with, but instead as an excuse for any ill or mistake. Now, I'm perhaps more hardened due to our life here in South Africa, but I cannot stand it. While some people wallow in it, there are others like, say, the famous Nick, I can't say his surname, but it's Nick Vujicic or something like that, who was born with no arms or legs. King Charles is just a weak man, an entitled man. And I mean entitled and spoiled and so far up his own arse that he would use anything, including tantrums, to get what he wants. Now, this lady predicted a timeline of his behavior so accurately that I cannot help but believe that he is following some kind of plan. Now, according to her, it will backfire shortly, in, say, a couple of months, because, then it will turn around and he will truly be too ill, okay? The fantasy will become reality in a couple of months from now, or say at the end of the year, or whenever. So, no, I came to this point through a long-winded explanation, but no one can say how long Charles has left. There are medical professionals, and then there's God and karma and all those other things. Google say people with a similar or same type of cancer has a 2 to 5 year on average prediction or lifespan, okay? But that there are people walking around with a problem for near on 10 years. Now, I asked AI, and AI says one has to take into consideration that Charles is of an advanced age, but that he also has other health issues. And then we also have to take into consideration that even though he's in his late 70s, he is still fit and he follows a healthy diet. Now, my one somewhat insider who has nothing to do with Buckingham Palace tells me the word among staff and others are indeed that Charles is in decline. So we don't know. Is he putting up this front to hide behind his illness, using his illness to get his way, using his illness to get to see his son? Or is he, like some of the insiders say, in decline? We don't know. I have an opinion. I think, personally, that he is using his illness at this point. But I do agree with my contributor that in a certain period of time it will start to backfire when he does really, honestly and truly becomes very ill. Anyway, this is not what this video is supposed to be about. What this video is supposed to be about is the fact, or so I believe, that Charles now really pushes his agenda with regards to Islam and Harry, and that most people are sick of it. Now, yellow placards with "Not my king" on it is not going to work. You see, people are judging Charles the way they judge themselves. Charles has no shame. Charles does not care what you say or how you feel. There are moments in a group or crowd when you can see how tedious he finds the plebs whom he has to greet and smile at. There are moments where I swear I can read his mind. Oh, the darn peasants, just go away. Charles, honestly, he believes it, he thinks it. He honestly and truly thinks he is superior to all of us. And he always has, ever since he was a boy. Anyway, that is why the placards won't work. He does not care. You can stand there until your arms all fall off for as much as he cares. He doesn't care. You need to go ahead and be serious about this and lodge complaints with your MPs, with your local representatives. You really have to. It's going to be the only way. And every time you lodge a complaint, send a copy to your local newspapers. Get the media in on it. Because, I don't know, you can also send a copy to King Charles's office. But yellow placards, it's not going to work. He doesn't care. He walks past and he ignores it. Doesn't bother him. Remember, 9 or 10 years ago, a bloke by the name of Jacob Zuma made a fool of South Africa and South Africans. He could not even read speeches and had no idea of millions and billions and so forth. A real clown. Like, for instance, when the government gave him money to upgrade the security of his home, and he used some of that money to build a huge swimming pool at his home instead. When the people complained, know what he did? He called it a fire pool. He said it had to stay full in case they needed the water to put out a fire. I mean, honestly, what a clown. Well, unfortunately, poor England now has a clown for a king. A king who loves dressing up and walking around with a dish towel over his head. Just like dear Jacob Zuma made fun of us South Africans, your Charlie boy has taken away from your pride. Get your pride back and bother your MPs until they are so tired of you that they finally give up and actually listen to you. Charles is no longer an asset to the country. He is actually hurting every native Brit with his lack of empathy, caring and understanding of the very people who had given him that luxury he's living in. I mean, speak up, Britain. Speak up before it is too late. Another man whose Energizer batteries should be removed before he ruins his lovely, fantastically beautiful country, and other countries right along with it, is, of course, the Don, Donald Trump. People are saying King Charles should not go to the United States because it may look like he is aligning with Trump and approves of the war in Iran. Now, I see it the other way around. Trump should not be playing golf or have a non-Christian British king over and treat him like the Pope while his own people are dying in Iran. The money they spend on this lavish state banquet should be given to the families who lost someone in the Iran war. Again, yet another clown who does not care about you or me or anyone else. Like his buddy bro Charlie, he is a raging narcissist who, with old age, do not care to expose themselves. They no longer care to even pretend to hide their narcissism. In any case, Ma Salema, Charlie and Donnie, be gone with you both. Okay, my dear, hopefully they understand that word. I believe that's Arabic for goodbye or something. I don't know. But I shall see you again tomorrow. So until then, take good care of yourselves. Bye.